Okay, so then this is just a big matrix. The next thing I did is I pulled out duration. So this is Old Faithful's data, is by the way, is how long it lasted and how much time was in between them is what this was. I pulled it off some website. So the duration is the first column. No, it's not. It's the second column, right? It's the second column. Duration is the second column, and wait time is the third column. The first column is just the index. It's just counting 1 through however many data points we are. And so that's the thing. I just pulled it out so that I knew what duration was and I knew what weight was, right? And instead of just leaving it as a big matrix. Then I said, all right, do some calcs, right? And so the calc for maximum is max. And so max duration, we'll go through that entire list. Duration is this big, it's the second column there. It's all that, and it just returns the maximum out of that. Then mean is the average, standard deviation is the standard deviation. STD is the standard deviation. There's min, I didn't calculate min, I don't think. Min is the minimum command for give the minimum. And then you come in, and then if I look for the weight, I do the same thing. I have a maximum of the weight, and it goes through, and I do each one of those things, okay? The other thing you could do, and I just wanted to demonstrate to this, is I could also apply it to, faith data was the whole matrix before I plucked stuff out of it. You can apply the command max to the matrix. And what it'll do is it'll calculate the max for each column and return the maximum for each column, right? And then min will return the min from each column, and standard deviation will give you the standard deviation for each column. So in that case, maybe doing it before you plucked it out is kind of nice, because if you pluck it out, you have to call on each variable versus doing it this way. You just do it once and it returns all of them. I don't know, just to show you that it works on matrices as well. Okay. The other thing maybe you didn't do was use this read table command. Read table is, as the name implies, it reads in a table. So I just said data is equal to read table of that thing, and this is actually really powerful. It just reads in the whole thing, and it's called a structure. It makes data is a structure that has different, I forget what they're called. We'll learn about them later, but it has these different components. Data.length. What's really nice about doing it this way, so this is what the table looks like. Data is this, right? It's this whole thing. And if I wanted to figure out all of the lengths, what I would do is I just say data.length, because this is the title of it, that came in when I read it in. So data.length is this second column, okay? And then I didn't go any further than that, but data.weight would be all this column. And then you could do your stuff on that afterwards. And so this read table is actually very helpful. I've never really quite used it before. And then you could do all sorts of plotting afterwards, right? What did I have you plot? Like plot data.length versus data.weight. Right, and then I think most people probably got this to start with, right? This ugly thing, and it's because it's putting all of it's trying to connect all the points. And so if I just say I just want to plot point by point, I just do that, and I can make that a square, I can make that a circle, right? I could make it a triangle. I could do all sorts of stuff. I could fill it in. I think that's what it's called. Marker, face, color. Red. Look at that. Look at me just knowing that command. Are you impressed? Marker face color, right? And so, by the way, when you can add all sorts of stuff to your plot call out, right? There's obviously this that we all saw where I could change the color of this, and I can say that these are going to be the black circles by being the OK. They're going to be black circles. The K stands for black. And that's great, but sometimes you need to do more modifications. And the way you do it, and if you look up in the help, it'll show you what all these commands are, is like I say what the command is. I want to do marker face color, and then I put a comma and what I want marker face color to be. And if I wanted to change line width, right? I think it's line width. Oh, line width, right? And I do that, I do a comma, and then I do, 2. And so I give it the command, and then I tell you what the value is. And it kind of gives you hints underneath. See how it kind of tells me hints, like what I can put? Line spec, marker face color, value, line width, value, right? And then there's other options. You can just keep doing this. You can keep adding stuff more and more to it. So it made the lines around each one thicker and made the marker face color like that. Okay, so your homework, you do this. You read in I think if not this homework, the next one, you're going to read in a bunch of data and do some stuff to it and add like some things to it. Okay, that was that exercise.
Mike, on the
Yes, Kayla.
table, like when you when you do read table versus DLM read,
Yeah.
is there any time you want to do one versus the other? Or
No.
Same, and it does same.
Same stuff. Same stuff. Yeah. It's just, it's a little more advanced to do that read table because it makes that structure with the different fields. They're called fields in the structure. And so it's maybe a little more advanced in that regard, but I don't think it matters. That read table is fairly new. Okay. Okay. Data. Learn that one. Okay, we just did that. Any questions about that? Everybody do fine on that?
I have like 3 minutes.
Oh, yeah, okay. Next thing we're going to do is rational. We're going to start just getting into programming now. This is where the real fun happens. This is where you got to get your headphones and your Monster Energy drink. This is some techno. You guys done it yet? You haven't done your homework yet?
Yeah.
Oh, wait. You get it, Brian? No?
What?
No?
Get what?
You ready?
Sure. I agree.
Let me just show you this. So I took your homework, some stuff I learned. I took your homework and I put it into ChatGPT and said, can you do this? And then also put it into DeepSeek. Have you guys been paying attention to the news and stuff? You should start using DeepSeek. It's free. It is.
It's technically better.
I think technically its testing is better and it's free. I have a paid version of ChatGPT, and I think it's just as good as the paid version of ChatGPT. What's super eerie is how close their solutions are. So they think that this is pretty interesting. They trained DeepSeek off of ChatGPT. And then somebody's like, is that ethical? Like they used their AI and they trained it with another AI. Well, how did they train ChatGPT? They stole all the stuff off the internet, right? So they already trained it with stuff that didn't belong to them. So then is it okay to copy what other people? But I put your homework into both DeepSeek and ChatGPT, and I pulled out a couple of parts of it that I think are worth talking about. So this is the last problem. I'm trying to move this to the side. How do I make that smaller? How do you think I get rid of this? I don't care about the workspace. You think there'd be a thing to pull to the side? What? This then? What do I do?
Minimize. Close.
I tell you, I'm getting old. I'm getting old. Noah, you watch your mouth, bro. You seem a little. Yeah, you did. You got me. It just happened. I'm getting older, and then I have to do this in front of everybody, and I can't find buttons, and But be nice to me, Bryce. Don't attack me, Bryce. Fuck, see, I fucking forget names. Noah. Okay. So I just said I took the PDF and I put the PDF into ChatGPT, and I said, can you give me the solutions? And it gave me the whole thing, right? But then I just took the last problem. Okay, this is DeepSeek, and so it goes through it. Look at its output. It calculates. This is the projectile motion. It calculates g, tells you what it is. It calculates v, it tells you. It calculates theta. And if you remember, if you read the homework, it says It says solve for the maximum amount of time until it hits the ground. So you had to do like a little bit of algebra along the way to calculate it. It did it for you, right? I didn't give it this equation. It's right here. The problem statement said, solve this other equation for the maximum time. It did that behind the scenes, and it calculated this T-max for me, right? This isn't really doing me much good in terms of convincing you to do this. Like, you should really code, and then it does all of everything for you, everything. And it goes through and it calculates all these components and the velocities, and then it plots it, right? It plots each component, right? Horizontal distance versus time, just like the problem said to do. And then it said plot vertical distance versus time. And then it does that. And it labels the axes and puts a title on it, right? And then part C, it did the same thing. And this is where the motherfucker got me, right? Is because it comes down. And those of you that tried to run Comet last time when it was embedded, it pops that bitch out of there. Watch what it does. It pops it out. Boom. right? It knew the comment wouldn't work. It knew comma wouldn't work inside of the live script. So it added a command to pop it out. And the command, because I think that came up. I remember I said there's a command, I can't remember what it is. The command for popping it out is visible, this right here. Figure visible on. And that's what pops it out of like the embedded thing. It brings it out so it can do that. So DeepSeek did it, right? I just ran it. I was like, would you look at that? It knew that it wouldn't run inside of here so that it made it pop out. And then it ran the comment.
A lot of incentive to learn this on
Yeah, I know. That's what I said. I said I'm really doing this a negative here. But I still think you still have to understand the basics to make it, like sure, But I mean, honestly, if you're trying to use this for research or something like that, use ChatGPT for God's sakes, right? Like help me with it. Like help me with this stuff, right?
Is this a requirement?
And then so by the way, so then I said so that was DeepSeek's what it did, and this is down here is ChatGPT's, and if you go through and look at it, I mean they're almost. I mean look at this.
Well, which one's better though?
I don't know. I mean they're exactly the same. Like look at ChatGPT's output, right? G is 9.8 acceleration
Oh
due to
yeah,
gravity.
with the
Yeah,
yeah.
right. It's almost exactly the same, which is to me,
It's different though.
but slightly different.
What is it though?
Huh?
What's different? The code's the
Well,
same?
the code is the same, and maybe just a little bit of wording is different. Like,
It's crazy.
right? It's because it also pops it out. It pops out the little thing, and it put in the figure visible on. But I think it maybe, like for instance, yeah. See here, it didn't create a new figure, right? It just did figure in that, and if you do it on the DeepSeek, it created a new figure and then ran. So, I don't know. But use an AI to some capacity, but also learn. It's on you, Ethan. You learn, okay? Gavin, learn.
Actually, I have a question. Oh. So mine, it actually does work without using that.
Oh, it does, but it's slow.
That's because
Pop it out. Yeah. Pop it out of there. Do the visible on and see if it goes faster. Oh, it was. Yeah, you just have shitty computers. That's all.
Again, we don't have great
No. So I guess it works. You don't have to pop it out. There's that you don't have to pop it out. I just think it's a little cleaner when you pop it out. There's some stuff later on you're gonna want to pop it out. Okay. All right. So let's get into some actual coding. Okay. You kind of understand how to do the basics on MATLAB. Run a code, where to put the code, how to analyze it, right? How to run it. You get all that stuff. But then but then we're gonna get into some coding stuff. So one of the things we're gonna talk about is rational operators. Okay, rational operators are, as you see right here, less than, greater than or equal to, less than equal to, is equal to, or is not equal to. So these are the main rational operators that MATLAB has. This compares two numbers to see which one's bigger, right? Or it's a logical test. Right. So if I said is one bigger than the other? Is one bigger than the other? Is the first bigger than the second? Is the second bigger than the first? Then this is, are they less than or equal to, greater than or equal to? This is equal to. If you just put one equal, then it just assigns that variable, right? So it would say, if you want to say is A equal to B, you would say A equal to B says check to see if they're equal to each other. Otherwise, it's going to make A equal to B. Right, just like you did, A is equal to 7. It said 7, A equal to 7. So you gotta be careful with that. So that's what the equals to. Okay, and so if these logical operators are true, then it returns a 1. That's the output is a 1. If it's not true, it returns a 0. So in this case right here, I said so this is just a question. These logical operators are questions. It says is 1 equal to 2, right? Equal to 2, and the answer is no. The answer is 0, right? And now it puts this little thing saying it's a logical 0, right? So it returns a 0. So the answer is false. 1 is not equal to 2. It says, well, is 2 less than 3? Well, yes, 2 is less than 3, so the output is 1 because the answer is 1. So 0 is false, 1 is true, right? Is 2 greater than 3? The answer is 0, right? It'll also do these things with vectors as well, right? So if x is a vector 1 through 5, and if I say x is less than 4, it'll go through and check every element of x. It'll return a 1 or 0 in those places. So in this case, 1, 2, and 3 are all less than 4, but 4 and 5 are not. And so the answer here should be 1, 1, 1, 0, 0. So this is, 1 is less than 4, 2 is less than 4, 3 is less than 4, 4 is not less than 4, and 5 is not less than 4. So it returns like that. So just keep that in mind. You could do this with vectors as well, okay? And then you can compare two vectors as well too. So this is x less than y. We'll compare each element. It'll check 1 and 1, 2 and 3, 3 and 5, 4 and 4, and 5 and 4. And it returns 1 or 0 on whether or not that's true, okay? So it'll do that. It will also do full matrices as well. You could do it with a full matrix as well. Okay. So that's fine. That's called rational operators. We also have logical operators, which are, we'll get to that. So this is using a rational operator. I just made two vectors, x, y, and z, and I'm just checking to see is x greater than y. This is just a rational operator still, okay? And this x greater than z, again, it just does a comparison with that. But this is where a logical operator is, and that's an and. The logical operators we see over here are and. That's this one. That's just an and symbol. That just means this and something else. This one right here is or, just a straight line. That is, that's the right above the return. Yeah, it's above the backslash is what that is, right? And that's the or command. This is a not. That is the right below the escape one, little tilde, I believe. Is that a tilde? Tilde? The tilde means not, okay? And then XOR is a logical exclusive OR. Returns true if only one operand is true. So only one is true. Whereas OR is any of them are true. And this logical OR is if only one. Never used it in my code in my life. Right? You can actually make a logical OR based out of the other ones, but whatever. Exclusive OR. You can make it out of that. Never used it, but know that it exists. Okay. So in order for this to work, right? In order for this to return a true, if this is all logical stuff, x has to be greater than y, and x has to be greater than z. In order for this to be true, both of those statements have to be true. So x is greater than y, right? X is greater than y in a couple places, right there, see? Right? And then x has to be greater than z, but look, z's are all zeros. And so the answer to all of this should be all zeros because never are both of them true, right? In order for the and to work, both have to be true, okay? With or, right? Or just means this could be true or this could be true. This is always 0, and so really it should just give us where x is greater than y. All it has to be is just one side or the other has to be true. Okay? I once took a bunch of coding classes in college, and then I also had to take a psychology class on logic, and it was so easy. Because it turns out everything we do in engineering is all logic-based. So if you ever take a logic class, it's just like, anyways. If you're ever looking for a filler, take logic. It wasn't psychology, it was philosophy class on logic. Turns out I could be a philosopher based off of this, okay? And then this is not. Yeah. Y does not equal 2. So this one just says it'll return a 1 if this is true. If y is not equal to 2. And so y's, all right, y's are negative 2, 0, 2, 1, 4 thing. So the only ones that are not equal to 2, or actually the only one that's equal to 2 is the middle. The other ones are not. And so that command, I use a lot of nots, not equal to. I've done quite a bit of ors and a lot of ands, but I've never used an exclusive or.
Is that a typo when it says if anything is not equal to 8?
Yeah, you have to get your comments in.
Yeah, I wasn't done yet. Kayla. Minus 6. There we go. There, see? Huh?
Oh, yes.
I meant to write. I was just going to say, what's wrong with what I've written here? But that's fine, whatever. You want to ruin my exercises, Kayla.
That's all I want to do.
Okay, so we're gonna do some examples in a second, which you have to use that. The other command that I use quite often is the find command. Okay, so, here's my heights. I don't know, I did them out of order here. My heights are 63, 67, 65, 72, 69, 78, 75. So that's what my heights are. And then what I do is I say, find all the heights that are less than 70. right? So the ones that are less than 70 are this first one, the second one, the third one, the fourth one, fifth one, 1, 2, 3, and 5, right? Those are the ones that are less than. And so what this command returns to you is the location of the ones where this is true, right? So it returned to us this index. I always call it index. The index is 1, 2, 3, and 5. So 1, 2, 3, and 5 are all the numbers out of the list of heights that are less than 70. This command is super useful. Okay, and so then if I wanted all the heights that are less than that, I do heights of these numbers, right? And I index heights, and it returns to me the 4 values that are less than 70. So in this case, it's 63, 67, 65, and 69. So this is just to show you, like, once you get that index, you can then use that number to then like pull out what the maximum or what those values were. Okay.
Could you just do like up here, do height index equals find heights, or would that not work?
Then that would.
Can you combine this?
You could, but then it would replace. It would give you the same answer because heights is it would still. And then if you ask for heights, it would still give you all the heights. If you said display all the heights, it would give me back all the heights.
I'm just gonna try it myself.
Try yourself and see what'll happen. Yeah, because if you do heights index, what it'll do is it'll say heights. No, it won't work because it has to return to you index first.
Okay.
It has to. All it's going to give you is
That's
1,
like
2,
the
3, and 5.
variable,
Yeah, it's going to just return to you 1, 2, 3, and 5,
Okay.
and then afterwards you have to do something with it. So you couldn't combine them anyway. Yep. Okay, so then here's another one. So I added age, 18, 19, 18. So these are the ages right here. So then you could do this. This is a fancy one. I was going to say find ages greater than 18, and ages greater or less than 35, and heights greater than 66, right? So I'm using both of those things, and I'm trying to pluck out people that are between 18 and 35 that have heights greater than 66. Okay, and then and the way you work, these are ands in here, so all 3 of those things have to be true. Each one of those things has to be true, and the output is 2, 4, and 6. So 2, 4, and 6. Okay. 2, 4, and 6, the participants, if you will, 2, 4, and 6 meet those requirements, right? And you let it work out all of that stuff, okay? And then I just made a table afterwards, 2, 4, and 6. That's what this is just showing you, right? I just did the indexes. So the first row in this matrix, I made it a matrix like this. First row is 2, 67, and 19, right? That's the index. That's the people, right? And this is the height, and this is the age of that person. Right, and this is the 4th person. This is their height, and this is their age. This is the 6th person. This is their height. This is their age. Right, and so then you could see that they do meet all the requirements that we talked about above. Okay, try this one. As an exercise on using the find command in MATLAB, read in the same faithful.csv we used in the last class. You can use either method we discussed. Plot all the data with the blue X. Find all the data points with weights greater than 70 minutes. And plot all of those data points on the same axes, but with green squares as markers. Also make these squares filled in with green. That's that marker face color that I showed you before. Find all data points where weights are less than 60 and lengths are greater than 2 minutes, and plot this data with red circles, and then add axis labels and legend to this graph. Give it a go. See what you can do. Race. Winner gets an extra cookie from Bryce.
You guys can have more cookies if you want.
No, they can't. Not unless they don't win. Not unless they don't win, man.
Just come get one. He's not the man, the boss of you.
I'm not the boss.
Your stomach is your home.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it too. No. Oh, I got that flipped.
How do you think you make a square?
S?
Just hit S?
I don't know.
Yeah, maybe that sounds right.
Yeah.
See, where's? Oh, that's not how that works.
I win.
You get another cookie.
Oh yes, I get another cookie. I do get another cookie, Bryce. Oh, you got it? Get you with the logical operators? Yeah. Mm-hmm. The same one. It'll be the same thing. You add a called one duration template. It'll be duration of INX. Because INX just returns to you which indexes, which data points.
I'm using.
you have. And so if the second one, this one,
Yeah, I used.
it'll just be coupled. It'll be labeled.
So you get.
Because it uses the weights of those numbers, and then if you do length of those same numbers. Actually, they do both the time.
So
You don't have to call it.
For the
Yeah,
DLC,
you don't have
you
to
save
call
other
it.
variables, right?
could
You
just
save.
use loss.
So it's the weight variable and the length variable.
Instead of doing this length,
Right.
you could just
Yeah.
put.
So
use
those
those
do
two
two
dot
dot
length.
length.
That's what I used.
Because you don't have
I have find dict dot weight stays
So
is greater than seven.
Like in
Because you could, if you're doing it this way, just make this like length.
Or you
two.
could do, if you save weight
Dude,
as
you're right,
a
very
variable,
errors.
you can do weight.
Right, yeah, because you didn't shorten the other one. Yep.
So.
No, it's not this.
Wait, is it? Here. That's right.
I
So.
You have
It's
this.
I
Yes.
did data.
It is.
Shows
Either
you-
you use that or you use this.
But it's just, that's why it's not showing it. But it was running.
You know, I made them enter. Mine are.
You just wanna see it.
My axes are.
But now I'm having trouble finding it.
Are you having?
I'm having the
That
worst
okay?
time trying to.
Yeah, I didn't say which to put on the x-axis, which to put on the y-axis, so yours might look different, cause I did duration on the x-axis and weight on the y-axis, yours might look a little different.
Oh.
There's a correlation here, right? The longer you wait, the longer the duration, is that what happens? Longer you wait, the longer the duration, which I get that.
So these two, I switched them up.
Look at that line just coming in.
I'm working on trying to remember what the square root is.
Mm.
You know, that's makes sense.
Gavin, how are you doing?
That was a little too
Yeah, it is.
Whoa, it was face.
Marker face color.
Marker face.
Marker face color.
Line spin.
Well, you can see, right? Like if you're trying to do a bunch of graphs and stuff, like once you learn all these commands, like it's so much faster, it's so much prettier than Excel. Right? You do all in your dissertation, you do all of it in MATLAB, right? Yeah, so much faster.
Does that work?
It's so pretty. Yes, Bryce.
I am running into an issue while plotting.
I know what it is.
I have too many arguments, or
I know what it is.
what would you choose might be. So am I trying to plot the symbol and change the color? And it is coming wrong. Actually, I'm trying to. But then as soon as I do comma and add and say green or whatever.
Yep, can't do that. So if you put green in with the S, so put G next to the S. Just right at the S. Nice. Now I'm on that. That'll work. So you can do it like that. But then if you after you do that
So you
first
got
and
all
next
the
one,
values
then you have to start doing color, comma
After you
green,
get your-
and then you have to do line type, comma green. So once
So
it,
I would do like.
so go back. You put a comma there, right? So yeah, do that. Put a comma and then put in as a string color. Yep. Color.
Yeah,
Because
so
like that. Yep. And then go
do
comma.
is
No,
fine.
and then comma. Yep. Now call it green.
Where in the index there.
I think you might have to call it. So you might have to call it. You might have to spell
And then
it.
it's just y equals data dot
Okay.
And so after that first time, if you don't put it in that first arm, like literally the first argument, then you have to call it out separate. And so this one you're on marker face, so now you do marker face color, and then that'll fill those squares in.
Marker.
Yep, face. Yep, but all touching each other.
Did you get that, Gavin?
Yep, and that should fill in.
Okay, I see the next dash on.
Yep, so it's just like the plots, you just start putting all the extra commands. Get that off of the computer. You just, it's dirty on the table. Right?
That's awesome.
You ruined my cookie, Mike.
I did.
Now you have to use mine.
So like,
Joseph.
incorporating the 70 into like our plot, are we just repeating this?
So what index is now is the value, or are the number, or it's the data points rather, the data points where this is true. So when you want to plot it down below, you'll do length of index. Yep.
So just
Parentheses I and X. Yep, and then the next one, weight I and X. You'll need to get rid of those spaces in between those dots too.
Okay.
It has to be right up against that dot.
So
Get rid of that space, get rid of that space. Yep. Try that.
That's
And then I also.
But see, you got them blue. Don't call them. Make them.
this one's supposed to
Don't
be.
start that. It's minutes because it was.
See if it's doing it right. You should be able to see. Yeah, see.
Okay, so then there's a difference. Gotcha.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Because it had all the stuff there, and then you put these ones on top of it. Yep. Yeah, see, look at that. You look at your matching. See?
INX though, like is now tied to this
Mhm.
equation. So now I need to do like INX 2.
Yeah, you can just call it INX again. It'll just replace the old one. It'll replace the old one. Yep. So same thing. Now you'll add it with that and in there, and then the new you'll do the exact same thing you did above. It's just with the new index that you're calculating down below. Yep. Okay, you got this?
Well, if I do this to plot it, it works, but I'm trying to like, I don't want to type this every time. So I've been
Okay,
trying
yep.
to like make my own.
Yep, that's fine to do.
But
Yep.
it's not
Right?
working.
This one, whatever name you have.
And I'm like, I don't know what I'm.
What's
What's wrong with it?
normal.
Because like it shows me,
Yeah.
Spaces.
Yeah.
plotting. Yeah.
Yeah, there.
So far behind.
So where does it get hung up? Does it do right here?
So then,
But
I have that and that's, right, that's good too. So then I have to do a plot. Okay.
Directly below. How do you make it hotter than the same one? Is that what you're
Because
saying?
it's like.
And so like it's
Yeah,
just
it
you do
shows
the
me
INX and then the
I
plot
have
that
semicolons.
it combines with is the one plot that's right below.
You have the
you'll-
hold on function at the very.
Oh, at the very top. Figure one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't put figure one, but so then so normal plot function.
Oh yeah, yeah. Parentheses. You got to do this.
Data 2 or
You
data
just do faith table.
It,
What you did is ask for the second thing, because now faith tables it'll do this.
and then you get into your like X square color.
Oh, so if I was
Yep.
doing the data one,
Yeah.
I would.
Then you do that. But when
okay,
when you're
okay.
doing this one,
Color.
Probably scroll down.
yep, that's all it was.
So the green.
Because they have a label there, right? And you're right. It's not nice to write that out each time. So do it.
Yeah, I was like.
Yep. Yep. But yeah, if you read it in as the matrix, then you do what you did. But you read it in as a table, so you can't do that. How we do it? You got this?
Yeah.
Okay. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Okay.
On that,
And then I have
Oh,
another
you,
box. And then I have to do the same.
doesn't know what to do.
Good copy. Good copy, Kevin.
I'm ahead of him. What are you talking about?
I just thought you were looking over there, you know?
I'm trying to help him.
Oh, there you go.
You're welcome, Gavin.
With the shapes.
Oh, no.
What we doing over here? Everybody doing all right? You need assistance? You think you got it?
Learning things.
No.
Did it.
That's how you do it. You just dive in.
Hey,
Connor, what you got there, big guy? Everything in purple?
Yeah. Why did you?
I'm gonna run it.
We give it.
I have
Good logic.
So you have marked by color, but then you have to tell them what color it is. That's why you're getting that error.
You switched your squares and your circles, Mike.
Did I? Yeah. I was in a hurry.
You wanted the cookie.
I wanted the cookie. I wanted the cookie.
I want a cookie. We'll go for a shred.
Yeah, they get. You want one real crispy?
Yeah.
That's the bottom. Oh,
we're
I
there.
haven't touched this one, so I'll have to come back. Oh yeah, look at that. Carcinogen right there. Mm.
So you have to give it the argument. What you
I got your bracket when I was making them.
How'd you get distracted?
It doesn't matter.
So then you just put in what you call as long as you can do each thing that you flip on in order that you plot. So you just do it like as a string. The first thing you plot is all day. Right, so you just write all day. You just do
So the good news,
whatever.
mine all looks like it works.
Yep,
Bad
and then you
news,
put a
it looks like
comma,
this.
and then the second thing you plot. You wait till the second.
Before the hold on after you plot.
Yep, and then you do comma, and then weights over 60 minutes or whatever it ended up being. Under 60 minutes, under 2 minutes or whatever. I think it was. And then it has to come in the order that you printed to your plot. And so if you ran, and then it gets a little weird because if you're not clearing your figure and you ran it a bunch of times, then it keeps track of every time you plotted something to it. So then your legend may not match. But if you clear your figure and do it, then it'll match. Yeah. It seems really cumbersome the way that they do that, right? Like it's the order in which you plotted it. There's other ways to do it, but that's beyond us. Like you can each plot, like if you say plot this, you can actually put that in a variable. So you could say like, and then you could plot something else and you store it in a variable. Like you say x is equal to plot, and then this is y is equal to another plot, this is equal to another plot, and then you can rearrange your legend as you want, but you have and then you put in arguments, the order you put in like I want x, y, and z, and I want to label this, and then you give them those things. But that's advanced. Right now, just by default, just put it in the order.
I don't know what's wrong.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yep. So it just goes down.
Need
If
some
the
help?
index was defined above, and then you redefine it down below. It becomes the only time you can run into problems sometimes is if you have a vector and you just erase parts of the vector and you don't clear the other parts. You got it all working there?
Get rid of marker.
Old
Here you go. Use marker faces. Use some marker faces. Give it a go. Good point. That's it. Get it in the way. That's weird. Elliot, you got all that?
That's what Mike said.
What did I do? You got it? Yep. Yeah, look at you.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's fine. Try it.
Don't you just get it?
If that one doesn't work, put square.
What do you got?
Stop right.
Oh, we were just saying minutes here, seconds here, hours.
Yeah.
We went with minutes. 'cause that's what you said.
I think that's right. 60, 70 minutes in between eruptions, 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Right? Old Faith would be pretty lame if it was 2 seconds long. 2 seconds long, right?
You waited a whole
That
hour.
would also be
Yeah, you waited a whole hour for 2 seconds.
It would also be really boring if it was 2 hours long.
Great, good point. It would also be pretty cool if it was
Every 2
every 2 seconds. Every 2 seconds for 2 minutes.
Now you do. Yes, you did. All these lines back and forth.
No, I know, but like,
You guys are doing great.
You done that?
I'm serious.
I'm so tempted to just screenshot that, throw it in ChatGPT, get the code immediately, and give you.
Try it. It wouldn't know what faithful is. Right?
But I know enough to put
Yeah, but you.
a table.
Yeah, you're right.
I did it all myself.
Yeah.
I didn't do that part.
Yeah.
But Mike, it might be too smart enough to put the weight table.
Read it out loud,
I don't
and you'll know which operator it is.
no, you don't need the
Oh, yeah.
spaces between them.
Yeah, it would. I bet it would.
Yeah, it was really great.
You say I have this file. I have a file that's comma eliminated. It's called this. Give me the code for this. I bet it would do it. I agreed.
Because even actually, you know, let's see what it gives me.
It would assume, it has to assume you have something otherwise.
Now that I know, because it says .csv.
My dad.
So.
Ah. That's funny. I'll show you that in a second.
You use deepfake, you can use ChatGPT, and let's see how it goes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Hey, Mike.
See if
Any chance I
Move
can
on.
get a little expertise?
rub them all over the.
That was inappropriate. That was inappropriate.
Don't eat it.
So somewhere in here, somewhere in here, you don't tell it to not have a line. You must have plotted it earlier with the line.
What's clear? What do you see on the?
CLF.
Study up, man. This is the first time I've known what I'm doing.
Could you hold on? So it's just plotting. It's replotting. So on the plot is already there.
Oh, okay.
You're a genius. You know that?
You son of a gun.
I know. I know.
I love that. It was fun.
I get it.
Interesting. This is way different than I did it. It might be better.
Are you giving it the file?
No, I just want to see what it'll do. See if it can go find the data itself.
Because it doesn't know that it's called waiting.
Maybe you should
Let
try it
me
with
give it
what's
a
the other
little
one?
bit of help.
I don't know why everything is like
Do it.
answer.
No?
Okay.
I broke it. See, there's a persistent issue with playing the plot.
Let's turn into
Oh, yeah,
see,
for sure.
see what it does.
Oh, look at that. It like sounds data.
Oh my god.
Okay, the data set is scatter plot.
But I wanted it to give me the plot, but it's having some issues.
Well, there's a scatter command too, huh?
Oh, I don't know. I never used that before.
We should check that out. Yeah, Deep
Try out
Seek
scatter.
just nailed it.
Did it give you all the code that you needed?
Like, just,
Absolutely ran over the top.
Did you run it?
yeah, this is what
No
Deep
way,
Seek just
dude.
gave me.
Yeah, well, turns out we're done with the class.
I can-
Turns out that we don't have to do this.
This is actually just a class on how to use it.
You said I have a file called this that I'm gonna download.
I just assume I have faithful.csv downloaded. And then it thought it was like waiting in lengths or something. Like it had the column names wrong, so I gave it
that's
the names for the
crazy.
column and spit this code back out and perfect. Like immediately.
That's nuts.
Yeah, well, you don't have to do this.
Yeah,
all this class again.
Right, and then I even so this
It
is
doesn't use the index function a single time.
it does it. The find command. It just used. It probably did it with like close.
It just says high weights equals data dot weight greater than 70. It makes it very
Yeah. It uses short, or sometimes it doesn't use shortcuts. Sometimes it uses just main. Yeah, it just does logical operators from the get-go. It doesn't use the find command type of thing. Probably is what it did. Yeah,
So faster.
a little faster, yeah, and more universal that would apply to different codes.
Right. Well, I specified it
I was
as lab.
moving. Sorry, I was late.
Yeah, because this one I said just give me. I said give me a plot of the faithful data, and it went and found its own data, and then it couldn't. Usually it'll plot on its own. It can create plots, but it couldn't. But instead it gave me the MATLAB code that I could run that would do it.
I didn't even tell it I had the file.
I just
I
blew
just
up.
said, gave it a screenshot of the prompt and said, write MATLAB code to answer this.
Dude, it's so dumb. It's so cool. It's really good at this stuff.
Yeah. Dude, what the true test big fan. What can I say?
Which one's better? Yeah.
It can run past all the stuff ChatGPT doesn't know how to
Yeah.
explain in the semester.
Right, right.
You actually had the thought first.
Let me see here.
We can't see what you're doing.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, he's on purpose.
I know purpose.
Hey,
Because he's on chat.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Not only that, nowhere in this question does it mention that faithful.csv has anything to
If it
do
could
with
actually
Old
like
Faithful.
yeah.
And it still titled it with eruptions, Old Faithful eruptions,
Well,
and
maybe
like
not a lot.
waiting time, like
Dude.
Probably because that file's been out on the internet enough years from mic.
Yeah, go through it.
Whatever training.
And we grab one of my pictures.
I just found people that
Yeah.
somewhere new that was happening.
That's freaky.
So it's crazy. So you can just put that command into ChatGPT and it gives you stuff. This is DeepSeek. This is when I did it earlier. I gave it your homework. I gave it your homework and then said, afterwards it gave me the solution. I tried it out and I said, can you write a short poem about it? Right? And it labeled it Ode to MATLAB Homework. In MATLAB's realm, where numbers play, we solve and plot both night and day. From Handel's chorus, a joyful sound, to forces of gravity, earth and moon bound. So your homework has all this stuff in there, right? Equations align and matrices tight. Linear algebra brings solutions to light. Tangents soar high, then plummet low. Asymptotes whisper where they cannot go. That motherfucker, right? What the fuck? Right? That gave me chills, right? Because an asymptote will always, it will never actually reach the point. But asymptotes whisper where they cannot go. Subplots divide, each graph takes its place. Sine and cosine in vibrant space. Projectiles fly, their paths unfold. Comet trails trace stories untold. Fucking beautiful.
What was the prompt? What'd you
Tell
get?
me, I gave him the homework and said, can you write a poem about this homework? Through code and logic, we find our way. In MATLAB's world, we seize the day. So here's to homework, both tough and grand, a dance of numbers at our command. Yeah, how about this one? But my God, asymptotes whisper where they cannot go? The fuck? Make me cry. I'm moved. So I did the same thing in ChatGPT. It said, can you give me a code? It says, an ode to MATLAB and mechanics. It's almost the same name that it gave us, right? Oh, homework dear, so bold, so bright, with MATLAB's aid we code at night. From Handel's tune that softly plays to Newton's pull in cosmic ways. The earth and move in gravity's dance, their force computed, what a chance. A system of equations solved with grace, linear algebra falls in place. The tangent curve, it climbs so high, yet nears its poles, it dares to fly. A sine wave black, a cosine magenta. Subplots make the graph
Resplendent.
resplendent?
Resplendent.
What the fuck is resplendent? Are they trying to rhyme with magenta?
Apparently.
Resplendent?
Resplendent. I mean, it's
The mighty art of flight we trace, a comet streaks through time and space, from ground to sky, and then back once more, physics code, a perfect score. Let's code, let's graph. Graphs be drawn till all our errors are long gone.
Don't
Through
shake your
these-
voice.
we come to see the beauty of math and MATLAB's glee.
Fucking
Sounds like one of
emojis.
those.
You're getting
Sounds like
emojis.
one of those voices over like a Christmas. Like,
Sure. Oh yeah. Narrating the Grinch.
MATLAB pass.
The ghost of MATLAB Past. I mean, I'm just saying, right? Honestly, a big part of the takeaway from this class is what the hell ChatGPT could do. It is fucking nuts, right? It's nuts,
Yeah, just wrote me a code on sizable steel beams.
right? You can ask it to give it your timber homework and see what it says. It won't do too bad. It has trouble reading. But what the figures look like and stuff, but it'll lay out the method that you have to follow and stuff.
Does it know ASCE? Can I, or do I have to upload those files?
I think it probably knows it. It probably already took it.
where to find an ASCE seven, like certain calculations and stuff, it'll bring up the exact equations and sections that need to go.
That's actually awesome.
It's so cool.
Right, and I mentioned this before, right? Will AI replace you? No, but an engineer that knows how to use AI will replace you. So be that person that knows how to use AI. It's nuts. Okay.
And the real purpose of
All right, so then what we got? We got 15 minutes, right? 4:25. Is that what we go to? 4:20. You're right. We don't want to overdo it. Now, if statements, okay? If statements are based off of these logical operators on their own, they're not super powerful. With the find command, which the find command kind of is like a little, like a nested if statement that's happening inside with a little loop that's happening, but it's just it's a shortcut command that we can use. But if statements, okay, the way if statements work, right? All programming languages have them, okay. And so what it is the way you do them in MATLAB, pretty straightforward. You say if x is less than 2, and then so it's if this is true, then do this, and then it ends. And so in this case, so I set x equal to 1. So it says if x is less than 2, which it is, so that's true. So then what it's going to do, that yes just means display yes. And so what it does is it displays yes, right? If I changed this right here, x is equal to 2 now, and it says is x less than 2? Well, x isn't less than 2, it's equal to 2. And so it doesn't display yes, and it doesn't do anything. So you can see that the output from this is nothing. And nothing came out of that because it was not true. But then they also have, makes it even more powerful, an if and an else. Okay, and so the way you do this is this: if this happens, display this. If that didn't happen, else display no. So in this case, it says if x is less than 2, display yes, else display no. So in this case, if I ran through this if statement right here, the output should be no, because it went in there, it checked to see if that value was less than the other value. It wasn't, so it displayed, it wasn't, so it goes to the else statement and goes from there. You could even do one where you nest these things, right? If x is less than 1, display x is less than or equal to 1, right? If s is less than, else if x is less than 2, display this. Else if x is less than 3, display this. Else, display this. So you can nest these things. You can put these else ifs in there as well, right? And you're like, when would you ever do this? Well, you'll see when you do some homework. So we have to put in these if statements and else if statements, right? So x is equal to 3.1. So it goes in, it says, well, is x less than 1? Nope. Is x less than 2? Nope. Is x less than 3? Nope. And then it gets kicked out to this one right here, and so it's x is greater than 3 is what it does at that point, right? And so it works this way. So if I change this thing to 2, if that was 2, it would come and say, is 2 less than 1? No. Is 2 nope. Is 2 less than 3? Yep. And so it would display x is less than or equal to 3, right? And so that's how those things work, right? And so these end up being really powerful, these if statements, okay? As a exercise, you tell me, just right now, just looking at it, what will the value of result be after running this section of code? Don't type it in, just use some logical thing. Don't put it in ChatGPT really quick. So you tell me.
I'm seeing if it can do the homework.
Oh, you are seeing it. Good.
It can. It's right.
Is it right?
Yeah.
No.
I just had to give it.
Is this DeepSeek?
Yeah. I gave it the homework and then the screenshot from the hazard tool that I used. It gave me the same answers I got.
No. Well, then we all go home. We can all go home. We don't need to do this anymore.
We're putting you out of a job.
Will you print that and then turn that in? Just turn it into Tim. Turn it into Tim. What is the answer to result?
I lied. It's 23, yeah.
I don't know what it is. Is that what you got either?
It's, well, the first statement is true.
Okay, let's see.
Right.
If A is greater than 3.
It is.
Yep. And C is less than 7. It is. Result is equal to 5 plus 18.
6 times 3.
How about that? Everybody else get that? So it just got kicked off with this first one. That's a boring one. Okay. By the way, this is what the exam looks like.
Second one's -9.
Oh, it is. Okay, so A is equal to 2, B is equal to 6, C is equal to 3. A is greater than 3. Nope. A is greater than 1. Yes. B is equal to 3. Nope. Else if B is equal to 5.
No.
No. Or C is less than 5, which it is, then result is equal to B minus 15. So it would be 6 minus 15, which is -9. So smart, Bryce. You're a genius too. You're a genius too.
Thanks.
Did you get that?
I was getting there.
Okay. Okay.
And the last one, none of them are? Nothing? There was no return?
A is greater than 3 and C is less than 7. Nope. A is greater than 1. Nope. B equals 5. Nope. So it doesn't do anything. You get an error. It says, I don't know what result is what it says. Okay? You'll see when you start really coding, you're going to have a bunch of weird shit like this. There's else ifs and stuff like that in there. Okay. What we got? We got 5 minutes. I'll try this one. Write an if statement that compares two variables x and y and returns the maximum of the two variables. If they are equal, have this if statement display they are the same, silly. That's a quick one. What does it do? There's two variables.
Two variables and returns of the max.
Mm-hmm. Done, I win. Whew.
Got it.
Test it.
It works. Mine works too.
Quit cheating.
I'm still looking at it doing.
Let's go.
We'll figure it out.
You see two else's?
That's great because it also does these equations.
Oh, it
Right.
it's like
It does all the
If I
equations
just
and-
screenshotted everything it gave me and turned it into Tim, the answer would be like
Two
everything
class.
else.
SS, that, or just recite coefficient.
This is arguably better than my homework.
Is it the same answer? Literally the same
Yeah.
answer?
It's different. That can give you the same
What was
answer,
the
but
stop thing?
hazard
Was it
rule.
control?
It didn't?
Well,
Sucks.
I
He
gave
gave
this
you the
one the hazard
hazard.
one because it just gave me all the equations and was like, you'll have to
You
figure
have to figure that
out.
out. And so you said, here's the hazard
And then I was
output.
just like, here's what the
Did you give
hazard
the image of the hazard output and it read the text out?
Yep.
Are we supposed to like put it?
Yeah, maybe, take it back. Maybe,
I know it's like super low.
maybe this is all, maybe this is all for naught.
I just gave the screenshot of the homework.
You get
just
it,
gave me
yes.
the hazard one, and that was
But then
it.
we do like.
The other thing you should get comfortable with is there's all sorts of ways to do this, right? Like my logic could be different than your logic. I mean, there's a bunch of different ways to get to the same answer.
How philosophical of you.
You could do two else ifs if you want, right? Right? I did mine with one else if and one else, right? Okay, so here's my code if you want to look at it, right? X is equal to this. So at first it said if X is less than Y. If X is less than Y, then the max would be Y, right? Because Y is the bigger one. And then I say display the max. Then I say else if x equals y, display there the same silly, and then set mx equal to the maximum there. And then else, if it's not those true, then what should have to happen is that the max will be x because the other one isn't true. The other two aren't true, so then this would be the only thing that would happen is that x would be the maximum. And then that's it, right? And again, you maybe did it different. You may have done it slightly different, and which is totally fine. Or you may not have done it at all. So yeah. Did you do it? Oh, you did it! You did it, yeah.
Did you still have a same thing and then have a
Yeah, because at the end, I just added NX.
Oh,
I said, what's the max? So I wanted to return the maximum, so just in case you were using the maximum on something else. So I just said, what's MX after I ran it? Yep. Yeah. It calculated the max, but didn't display. Well, it displayed them up above, and then I just said afterward, what's the MX? Cool beans. 4:21. We went 1 minute over. We went 1 minute over, 4 minutes shy of what we're supposed to go do. yeah.
Hey, I will say, Dr.
Tim just keeps going until
You jump right into this. Usually you lollygag.
Yeah, I'll work on that. I'll work.
No.